What's up, guys? So I want to clarify any confusion about judging, scoring, and my opinions of scoring, which I haven't given out yet. When I judge fights, when I give my take on who the winner should be, I don't use my own rules to it. I don't use my own opinions to it. I specifically only score fights by the rules that we are given. I don't like the scoring criteria. I think they're pretty broken. Because regarding the Alexander Volkanovski Max Holloway fight, how are the first two rounds of that fight scored the same as the last three? How does that make any logical sense? How? Only a broken system would suggest that, right? I agree with everybody who says that. I completely agree that the first two rounds should have been scored heavier than the third, fourth, and fifth because more happened, more damage was inflicted. There was more domination on Max Holloway's part as well. The first two rounds, in my own world, should have been like 10-8s or just valued more than how the third, fourth, and fifth rounds went. But the thing is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I agree, pride rules are better, judge the fight as a whole is better, all that stuff. But it just doesn't matter when we're judging the fight objectively. When we're judging the fight honestly and objectively, we cannot even say these things because they are completely irrelevant. It's a shame. I don't like that, but that's just what it is. They don't mean anything when you're scoring fights. And the rules are probably not going to change for another 20 years, just like the old rules. So I made a video breaking down the entire third round of Max Holloway versus Volkanovski 2, strike by strike. Every single strike in the round was given in that video. You can go and rewatch it yourself, every single strike. What I did was I rewatched the third round 5 times in slow motion. It was a pretty long process. And then I triple checked after I made the video just to see if I missed something. And then I put the video out there. I first thought that Max Holloway won the fight. I thought he won the first 3 rounds. I wanted to see for myself what this whole debate was about, why everybody was arguing about it. And after making the video, the disputed third round seemed to have gone either way. If you look at the smallest details, I would have to say it goes to probably Volkanovski, but you can absolutely still give it to Holloway when you're judging it live because the judges don't have the numbers, they don't know the stats. I don't even know if they're allowed to look at the stats, and they're just judging it by what they see. I didn't know all the judges gave Volkanovski the third round, and the 5th round is what one of the judges gave to Holloway. Just questionable. You know, if you're going to give Holloway a round besides the first 2, obviously, it should be either the 3rd or 4th, which just shows that the judges are not so much competent. But here's the thing. When I made the video, I wasn't giving out my opinion on who I think should have won the fight by my criteria. You have to judge fights by the criteria that is given, the unified rules. As broken as they are, as bad as it can seem sometimes, it is better than the old rules for sure. You have to go by it. You cannot make up your own rules and then judge real fights based off of your rules, like backyard rules and stuff. I hear a lot of different perspectives. Everybody gave me different reasons why they give Max Holloway the fight, but none of that matters. The rules are very straightforward too. They're very easy to read and the wording is pretty simple. So the rules are like a hierarchy. Effective striking and grappling is number 1. If the effective striking and grappling is absolutely equal, then you go to effective aggressiveness. If that is absolutely equal, then you go to fighting area control, or what we used to know it as octagon control. If the effective striking and grappling is not equal, like it almost never is, you never go to aggressiveness. You never even score it. It's not even a thing. Like the rules state, effective aggressiveness is a plan B, quote unquote plan B, and should not be considered unless the judge does not see any advantage in the effective striking and grappling realm. That is it. You're almost never going to look at aggressiveness and octagon control. You're almost never going to look at it. There'll be a few rare instances where you probably will, but in most fights you won't. Now let's go right through the rules. We're going to start with effective striking and grappling. Quote, legal blows that have immediate or cumulative impact with the potential to contribute towards the end of the match with the immediate weighing in more heavily than a cumulative impact. What this means is any big blow that can finish the opponent is number 1, right? Knockdowns, big overhand right stuns the opponent, that kind of stuff. Damage is priority. And it says the immediate weighing in more heavily than the cumulative impact. What that means is that one big shot is going to weigh more than a cumulative impact of blows that aren't necessarily going to end the fight. So an example is, if I keep peppering you with jabs, that is not going to mean as much if you drop me with an overhand right. If I hit you with like 10 jabs and you stun me with 1 right overhand, your right overhand counts more to the scoring. It means more. Damage is priority. Also, this part of the rules, throw away stats, throw away numbers. This completely shows everybody stats don't matter that much. Numbers don't matter. It's damage. Then it continues, successful execution of takedown submission attempts, reversals, and the achievement of advantageous positions that produce immediate or cumulative impact with the potential to contribute to the end of the match, with again the immediate weighing more heavily than the cumulative impact. So this is the grappling part of it. The first was the striking, now it's the grappling. Any takedown, submission attempts, reversals, transitioning into advantageous positions on the ground when they're grappling, if any of these things can point to ending the fight, finishing the opponent, such as triangles, arm bars, slams, any of that stuff that can finish the opponent and put him in that kind of danger, that's gonna weigh a lot, with again the immediate weighing in more heavily than the cumulative. That means, for an example, if we're grappling with each other and I try to go for like 5 guillotines and none of them were that close, but I went for them, you got out of them pretty quickly, and then you almost tapped me with 1 armbar, your 1 armbar is gonna mean more than my 5 guillotine attempts, because that was closer to finishing me than me finishing you. Again, it correlates to this damaging narrative. Then it continues. It shall be noted that a successful takedown is not merely a changing of position, but an establishment of an attack for the use of the takedown. This means just getting the takedown is not going to matter, you need to do stuff with it. I take you down, I land ground and pound shots. That means the initial takedown is going to matter more than me just taking you down and you standing up. Top and bottom position fighters are assessed more on the impactful effective result of their actions more so than their position. So this means if we're grappling with each other, you're on the bottom and I'm on top, just because I'm on top, it doesn't mean I'm doing more. It doesn't mean I'm winning. If you're landing elbows on me and I'm not doing anything besides holding you down, you are winning that round, which I 100% agree. I love that part of it. So this gives the guy on the bottom more of a chance to win the round. This criterion will be the deciding factor in the high majority of decisions when scoring a round. Okay, but it should be more consistent, to be honest. The next 2 criteria must be treated as a backup and used only in capital letters when effective striking and grappling is 100% equal for the round. This 100% matters, and it literally means 100% when it's exactly equal. I believe Big John, I don't know if he wrote the entire thing or he was part of writing the rules, I believe he said before, it means in detail. Like, if I land 1 shot more than you, that's not 100% equal. Of course, this is going to be pretty hard to do live. The judges are human. They're not going to be able to count every strike. But that is what the rules intend. Now, if striking and grappling is equal, we go to aggressiveness. Quote, aggressively making attempts to finish the fight. The key term is effective. Chasing after an opponent with no effective result or impact should not render in the judge's assessments. So that is the entire effective aggressiveness. Just chasing the guy down and marching forward doesn't mean you're winning the fight. If the guy is not showing any kind of result while being aggressive, their quote-unquote aggression does not matter. And then we go to fighting area control, which is only assessed when effective aggressiveness is 100% equal for both competitors. This will be assessed very rarely. Fighting area control is assessed by determining who is dictating the pace, place, and position of the match. That is it. It doesn't mean much. You're probably never going to see this. You're probably never going to see this judged. Everybody should know now what should be judged and what is not judged. Damage from strikes, immediate 1 shot big punch is going to count more than 20 jabs, that sort of thing. Whatever looks like it's going to finish the opponent more, that is what's going to get valued the most. And that goes to submissions, takedowns, and stuff as well. Now, the reason why striking is going to matter more than grappling, not entirely, but mostly, is because reversals and transitions on the ground are almost never going to contribute to ending the fight. Almost never. Even takedowns most of the time. The submission attempts is the big one. That's the big one. That's where it can actually rival the striking aspect of the criteria. Almost every strike can finish the opponent. So I do see a lot of people still going by the old rules and using all the criteria to judge a fight. That stuff has been abolished. Now that is looking at the rules objectively. That is just what the rules state. When I judge fights, when I talk about who wins and who doesn't, I don't put what I think about it. I just judge it by what the rules state, and that's it. So I just want to clarify that because it seems like a lot of people believe that, you know, I'm biased one way or the other, or I'm biased for Volkanovski, or I'm biased for Max Holloway. I've heard both sides. I wanted one fighter to win and one fighter not. Okay, let me say this first. I don't care who wins a fight. I really don't. It doesn't do anything for me. It does not change my excitement for the sport at all. If Kamaru Usman won, if Jorge won, if Max Holloway won, if Volkanovski won, it doesn't change anything for me. All I really want to see is a good fight, learn from what happened, expand my knowledge after seeing the contest. That's what's fun to me, not certain fighter wins. That doesn't do anything for me. The only time I might play favoritism is when it comes to styles. When styles replicate what I like, such as, fast pace, some flashy techniques, good stand-up boxing, all that stuff, I like to watch it more, but I don't root for that fighter to win. Actually, the last time I've ever rooted for a fighter to win was for Anderson Silva to beat Chael Sonnen the first time. That was it. That was 10 years ago. I was 15 years old. Like, ever since then, even in the rematch, I'm like, why do I want Anderson to win? What's wrong with me? It's just a fight. May the best man win, and that's just how I've seen it from then on. And to be honest, ever since then, I've never really looked into the personality of fighters, other than if it's like just massive skill thing, like a Conor McGregor thing that you just can't escape, or whenever you guys share something that's worthwhile, then I'll watch those. But most fighters in the UFC, I don't even know their personalities. I have no idea how they are. Even Max Holloway, Volkanovski, people talk about Kamaru Usman and stuff. I just don't know most of the fighters' personalities. So I just want to clarify any confusion about my thoughts. Why did I pick Volkanovski? Why did I break it down? Do I have any biases? All of that confusion, I just wanted to clarify all of it. And now in my next video, some of you have suggested that I should go back and look over my predictions and give a recap to my predictions after the fights happened. Because I held back the podcast so much, I'm gonna do it. My next video, I'm gonna recap the predictions, give my thoughts on what I thought was going to happen and what actually happened and what I learned from it, as well as other stuff. So I'll see you guys there.